Good morning, Dr. Jafari, Yi, our guest judges. Thank you for spending your morning with us. And class, I'm John, along with Raj, Trevor, and Daniela, and this is our app, Drinking Buddy. An overview of what we'll be going over this morning is our abstract, our problem statement and motivation, market and literature reviews, scientific and technological components, testing and validation, a quick demonstration, our project management, and finally our conclusion. So our abstract is that alcohol is a commonly used substance that invites harmful consequences in many social environments. Our group is creating a mobile application, Drinking Buddy, which integrates a simple and user-friendly game with statistical algorithms to test and prevent users from misusing social media while under the influence of alcohol. The testing will be performed by utilizing a baseline test that is done while sober and comparing this score to a real-time test to see if you're too intoxicated to use social media apps. So our problem statement, there's 85% of adults that admit to partaking in a night of drinking occasionally. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem therein lies that 52% of them regret some form of electronic communication while they are intoxicated. So we've seen this firsthand. We want to prevent these irreversible acts because once you send it, you can't take it back. And we do this by assisting the users by providing them the ability to restrict their social media use. So there's other apps out there, but none of them really tackle the problem of blocking social media while you're inebriated. They want to try and get it beforehand, but you can change it through our app. It tests while you're actually drunk, which differentiates us. And our app uses reaction time and memory testing with a baseline to gauge that mental state of the user.
With research that we've done, we've looked into how alcohol affects an individual. The hippocampus is a brain structure located in the temporal lobe of the brain, and its main focus is to assist with memory and learning. Alcohol directly impacts the hippocampus by interfering with the brain's ability to concentrate and efficiently recall memories while disrupting the interactions between the hippocampus and other parts of the brain. Alcohol also affects the brain's ability to retain information and create new memories while drinking. Some additional research that we found was that dehydrogenase is the enzyme that metabolizes alcohol. So we found that physiological features impact how alcohol takes effect, and some examples include gender, where research shows that women have a less alcohol dehydrogenase, so alcohol remains in the bloodstream longer, and in fact, men have 40% more dehydrogenase. Women also tend to have higher body fat, which reduces the percentage of lean body mass that can distribute the concentration of alcohol. Also, with height and weight, it is known that smaller stature individuals will become impaired quicker. As the percentage of body fat increases, the resulting concentration of alcohol in lean tissue of the body is proportionally higher. Based on an Oxford University study, reaction time is increased by at least 10% while intoxicated with alcohol. So we made an initial algorithm that takes the time for the baseline test and multiplies it by 1.1 in order to account for intoxication. The user must pass both parts of the test in order to access their apps. Failure to complete either portion of the test will result in a retry. Technological components of our design include coding an application that distinguishes whether or not someone is in proper mental condition after drinking alcohol. Some aspects of our app are features like home screen, calibration, after intoxication test, and data storage that is incorporated into our application process. Our app uses the inputted data that is stored to adjust the interactive game through an algorithm that takes the data into account.
So for our testing plans and validation, initially we were working with Dr. Angelo Di Bello, who worked at the Center of Alcohol and Substance Use Studies, where they had a lab where they can safely and in a controlled environment test any experiments involving alcohol. We're planning on using that lab to do any testing with our app, but this semester we lost contact with him and weren't able to do that, and we couldn't otherwise test with alcohol safely or ethically. But if the opportunity had arisen, or if we had the resources, we would have liked to have a wide diversity in our testers, ranging from their different ethnicities and genders, so that we can have a wide range to see if there's any differences between those factors, and have them conduct a sober state test, a test at 0.08 blood alcohol content, which is the legal limit before driving, and at a 0.1 blood alcohol content when reaction time is most affected. And then we would use the results from those tests to see if our test categories are effective and if our app would have a good accuracy to test drunkenness. Since we couldn't do that, we did try looking at another aspect of our app that was important to us, which was user-friendliness. We wanted our app to be simple and convenient to use for the user so that it's not a chore when they go out and not inhibiting their night of fun. We asked a few people to run through it and see what they thought, and we got a lot of good feedback ranging from how it's great and that they can't wait to try it out in the future, as well as the game being easy while they were sober, but something they definitely wouldn't have been able to do after drinking. And the only criticisms we really got were some simple typing in convenience issues that are simple to fix.
So from our research, we know that the chemistry behind alcohol absorption varies from person to person, and much of it is due to genetic and environmental factors such as age or gender. And in order to gather personalized information about our users, we added a quick questionnaire that collects data, and then it's stored and used for future analysis of sobriety. A combination of the user's physical factors and their test results will basically make up our algorithm for the predicted score. On the right, we have a study done by the University of Notre Dame showing a difference in absorption rate. So we can see that women with an average weight of 130 pounds will experience higher BAC levels than males averaging 185 pounds. So in the first table, we have 6 independent factors that are scientifically known to affect alcohol absorption. And as more users complete the initial questionnaire and input their info, the database will be updated. As you can see, there are 4 numerical factors that are arranged in groups and 2 variables that have specific categories. So for example, users' age will be classified in one of the 5 ranges, and the score that they receive will be put in the corresponding group. The same process will be done for each factor, and then the average time it takes to complete our test will be stored. Our goal is to use this collection of data in order to predict how a specific user will perform in order to basically show what a new user will score on their test. So in the second table, we have a new user, and his expected average is calculated using each individual category. Lastly, we also want to use this data to see which factors actually affect absorption and then compare our results to existing research.
So then here is a small demonstration of how our app looks and works. So this is the home screen of our app. It has 3 buttons on the bottom that have calibrate, start drinking, and manage. Starting off on the manage side, there's 2 different things they can edit. On the personal info, right now it only has height and weight to take into account. As we get more information, we would be able to add more information there. On the other end, we have emergency contacts, where they can input 3 different emergency contacts and their phone number that they can contact at any point during this test. On the calibrate side, they get 3 seconds to memorize a 4-digit code before going into a whack-a-mole style game. They get 30 seconds to hit the moving beer as many times as they can, and their score is recorded. As you can see on the bottom right hand of the screen, there's the call contacts button that's always there in case anything happens and they need to contact someone. Once they finish the game, they're asked to put in the code. Here we messed up the code just a little bit to account for if someone had a typo. They get a total of 2 chances, no more than that. Here they get it right, and it takes them to a pass screen, and then they're able to use their phone. Start drinking would work essentially the same exact way, except it would have a buffer period before you started, in which it takes into account like 10 minutes because alcohol doesn't start affecting your body the second it enters. And then it would go into the test and compare that to your baseline saved scores.
As for project management, we had shared responsibilities with scientific research and had individual aspects as we worked on app layout, coding, research, and algorithm. Some of the risks we faced were limited coding experience within our group and ethical and safety testing with alcohol use. And lastly, in conclusion, we want to decrease the negative effects of alcohol while protecting social media misuse and determining sobriety through our user-friendly application. With the use of testing and data collection, we want to compare our own results in the future with past research models while taking a shot at making drinking safer.
This is what we went over this morning. This concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?